morning, friends. How are you today? It's Sparrow, without my glamour, without my green screen where I can pretend that I'm anywhere else that's outside rather than home. But I do love my home. I love the way that it's decorated. Well, we're not even finished, but I love the way that it's decorated, the colors that we use. We use a lot of color. I like a lot of color. So I took down the Glamour because we're doing something this evening. And I had to clean the house. And it's getting there. The floors are washed and swept. And I'm going to be doing the dishes and the laundry's put away. And things look a little bit tidier than they normally do. So that's great. And I'm excited about everything that's going to happen. And that's in my personal life. And that's great. But what I want to talk about is the fact that we're coming out of this pandemic in different levels, in different ways. I live in British Columbia, and we flattened the curve pretty much for the pandemic. And so now we're opening up. The schools aren't opening up, but some businesses are opening up. And that's exciting. It's also kind of nerve-wracking, to be honest. I'm a little bit, I've become a little bit of a germaphobe, I think. And I hope when this is all over, well, it's never going to be all over. I'm just going to put it there. But I hope that when we get to some semblance of normalcy, when we're going through our days without having to think of putting on masks or extra cleaning or anything like that. Although I think that's a long ways off. Here's the thing. I saw a lot in the early part of the quarantine and into the middle. I saw a lot of love. I saw everybody being so kind and generous and loving and being, if not understanding why somebody would have a viewpoint, understanding that they would have a viewpoint. And saying, okay, I'm one of 7 billion people, or however many there are on the planet now. I'm one of that many people. And so there are going to be a few different viewpoints, and that's okay. And I saw that, and I saw people doing things for each other and being very loving and kind. What I'm seeing now, I'm observing that it's an angst is beginning to start. There's two different angsts going on right now, mostly in the social networking or social media world. There's the one angst, everybody's going to fight and screw it, like racism. You do not have to ever understand the other side of racism. Be anti-racist. Just the nature of our society makes all of us that are not people of color or a different religion slightly racist to different levels, because we now I can't think of the word, but as white people we have privilege, and there's no doubt about that. But that's not what I'm saying. Just on that point, resist. Always fight racism. Be anti-racist. If you're going to be anti-anything, be anti-racist. The other side of it is this thing that I'm seeing a lot of people getting angry and starting to judge again about things that may be your business, may not be your business. But there's a lot of fighting about it, and there doesn't need to be that fighting. We can disagree without killing each other, without hurting each other, without being dangerous to each other. We can disagree and discuss things or write them out or just leave it. Just leave it for a little while. Or if that thing is really pushing at you and it's creating a lot of friction, that idea, that thought process, whatever, go find out about it. Learn about it. Learn why. For example, I have a problem with the fossil fuel industry. I understand, and if you look around, I've got some things that were made in the fossil fuel industry. Not a whole lot, but there's a bit. There's plastic right there, that stool. We try to have more natural things, but that as it may. My electric bike is plastic and metal, but mostly plastic, and that's made out of oil. So my electric bike was made with fossil fuels. So there you go. There's a little bit of that. But what I've done so that I understand the oil workers in Alberta and other places, although for the most part I grew up with those people. I am a grandmother, and until 15 years ago, I lived in Alberta, and most of my family worked in oil. So I understand what the oil workers are going through, and I understand how scary it can be that this industry is just going to disappear, and it is going to disappear. It's already going away, but for whatever reason, it's going to go away. We have to. We know that we don't have very much of an opportunity, and some say 10 years, to bring down the emissions and whatever, to turn back or slow down. I don't think it's ever going to turn back, but to slow down the greenhouse gas emissions and what have you, whatever is going to ruin our planet for humans to live on. So what I am just saying is that we have to remember and actively and with some activism, actively love, actively do that thing. If you're mad about what's happening in the States right now, this very moment, with police brutality, act. Go to your marches, do that, do the things, call your politicians. If you're in the States, call your politicians. If you're in Canada, call your politicians. We're doing relatively well here in Canada, and especially in BC and some other countries, and we can do a little bit more. But if you're angry, go and do the thing. Learn about the other side. Learn why they're having trouble, because there's always another side. If you're having friction, if you're having that confrontation, there's another side. And for me, like I said, it's fossil fuels. It could be fundamentalist Christianity. I have nothing against Christians at all. Zip, nada. I even like their Christ. He is a god or a demigod or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just a human. But he says that, they say that he is a god. So he is a god, and I have no problem with him. And he preached the same thing I like to talk about, and that's love and radical loving, radical love. Do your very best. Learn, do things, travel on the bus. If anybody says anything racist, then sit down with the person that they're being mean to and be that person's friend. There's tons of things. I just want people to remember that we're going to come out of this, and people are going to be wearing masks, or are not going to be wearing masks, or they're going to accidentally walk within 3 feet of you, or what have you. Lots of things are going to happen, and we can be mean and stupid about it, or we can be kind and loving about it. We can say just gently, oh, excuse me, might have missed the arrows. Or we can just, it's in the Bible. I don't believe the Bible as much as there are some good things in it, but I'm not a believer of the Bible. But there are some good things on it. And one of the things that it says is turn the other cheek, but only in some things, not in racism. Do not turn the other cheek. But if somebody isn't wearing a mask, or somebody walks too close to you, or somebody sends their kids to school, or somebody doesn't send their kids to school, or somebody shops for themselves, or somebody doesn't shop for themselves, or somebody takes transit, or somebody doesn't take transit, or somebody needs to wash their hands a lot, or somebody doesn't need to wash their hands a lot, somebody does yoga, somebody doesn't do yoga. You get the picture. Just be kind. Breathe. Try and let go little things so that we can fight the big things. That's all for now. It's all about the love. Be kind. I hope you have a great weekend. If I don't touch base with you before Monday, take care. Be kind. It's all about the love. Take care of yourselves.